What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your man, Chazz Ellis, once again, answering the questions that you ask me. Make sure you go to the ChazzEllisProject.com if you want to get involved with some of the discussions that we're having, like, do you think that marriage is outdated? Have you ever been in a rebound relationship? Do you think the radio was wrong for making fun of Floyd Mayweather for not being able to read? A lot of these different things that we're talking about on there, I'm getting involved in the conversations. Y'all are doing it. It's real good discussions going on. Go to the ChazzEllisProject.com to get involved. Also, if you want to use some of this information that I'm giving you in real world environments, learn what, get involved in some of the scenarios and things that we're doing. Make sure that you get access to the As Chazz Ellis Presents the Game Plan class that's going to be going on. It's going to be a live stream for that. So make sure you get involved with that too. All you got to do is go click the link. It's going to be in here somewhere. Go to the ChazzEllisProject.com. Bam, you get involved. And if you want to, you can make a donation. You can get a consultation. You can get access to the email address so you can ask questions. Whatever you want to do. The ChazzEllisProject.com. Anyway, the question that I got was, a young lady told me that she had been vindictive during a breakup and she wanted to know how to recover from that and regain the person's trust. That's a real common thing that people do, is when a breakup happens, a lot of people get really vindictive. It's like, we broke up, I want to slash your tires. We broke up, I want to bust the windows out of your car. We broke up, I want to kick you out of the house even though I know you ain't got nowhere to go. We broke up, I want to call the phone company and get your phone cut off. Whatever, I want to call the police on you and try to get you arrested for some stuff. All kinds of stuff. People do these things because at the time when you do them, you're mad. You're really pissed off when you do that. Unfortunately, you stop being mad at some point, and you don't really want that person to be mad at you. You want to, you might want to get a relationship going again. And you've already done these things, and it's kind of hard to recover a lot of times. Also, you got to think, sometimes somebody does something to you, and you get mad, but then after you go about the process of being vindictive towards that person, you kind of feel bad about what you did, and you kind of feel like, man, I ain't really like that. That was messed up. That's the bad thing about being a good person, is when you dog somebody and do them wrong, you can't just do that. Your mind and your heart don't let you just get away with it. You're like, I feel bad. So it kind of backfires on you. So what do you do in this situation? Well, before I get to telling you what you need to do, you have to understand where this other person is coming from. The person kind of feels like after you're vindictive to them when you break up, they feel like the love wasn't really real. They feel like it was a selfish kind of love, because if you're going to put me in a position where I'm going to be messed up because I'm not with you, that means the only time you care about me is if I'm doing something with you or we're together in some kind of way. Like, for instance, if we break up and you want to kick me out of the house, change the locks so I don't have nowhere to go, and don't worry about how I'm going to find another place to stay or whatever the case may be. Well, you only cared about me when we was together. Now that we're broken up, you don't care where I stay. You don't care if I'm homeless. So how can I really care about you? Or if you're going to bust windows out of my car, that means you don't even care whether or not I can get back and forth to work. So because I'm not with you, you just want to see me in the worst possible position. It's going to be kind of difficult for you to sell me on the fact that you love me after that. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's so hard to recover. So here's some of the steps that you can take to recover. Number one is something you have to do with yourself. You have to realize that what you did was wrong, okay, and that there was no excuse for it. Here's where you run into a problem a lot of times. People do stuff like that. They be like, he cheated on me, so I had every right to bust his windows out and cut his tires and get him fired from his job and get him put in jail. Him cheating on you gives you the right to vandalize his property? Well, if you think like that, it's going to be pretty hard for you to make any kind of headway in a new relationship because you think what you did was cool. Well, she slept with one of my friends, so it was okay for me to bust out her windows and throw acid on her. I'm done. Of course that's pretty far out there. But it's okay for me to do all that. It was okay for me to call her mama and threaten her. It was okay for me to, to do all this other crazy stuff. I mean, all the things that people do when they're being vindictive. People think if you think that was okay, there's no way that you can ever reconcile with the person. How can you? You think it was okay what you did, so any apology you give is going to be fake if you feel like you were justified. So that's what you have to do before you can try to make any type of amends with the person is you first have to reconcile within yourself that what you did was wrong and that there was no legitimate excuse for it. Whatever you think was a legitimate excuse, you got to reprogram yourself to understand the fact that there is no legitimate excuse to be vindictive towards other people. If you can't feel that way, you can't get back with them. Can't make any kind of headway. It's impossible. Okay. Because really, I got to say this too. Really, the only time a person is going to get back with you after you've been vindictive and you think they deserve it is a scumbag. That's why a lot of people attract scumbags over and over again and they stay in a relationship with a scumbag. Because they keep doing wrong to people who want to break up, and the only ones that come back are people who think they deserve it, who are generally scumbags. Now, sometimes you get some people who just have really low self-esteem and think that they deserve to be treated that way, but they're usually not very good relationships either because, there's a certain insecurity that comes along with it. But mostly, it's scumbags. Anyway, number 2. You have to make real honest restitution for what you did. And when I say honest restitution, I don't mean making restitution like, hey, I busted the windows out of your car, but I'll give you a ride to work in order to try to get back with you while I'm taking you to work. No. You got to fix that person's windows in their car and realize they don't owe you anything for you fixing the windows in the car you messed up. You messed it up. If you were with the person, you kicked them out of their house, you kicked them out of the house, they don't have nowhere to stay, you need to help them get their own separate place. Now some people are like, well, that ain't my responsibility. I kicked them out of the house. They deserved it. Ain't my responsibility to help them get another place. If you feel that way, and you don't feel like you need to make that restitution, then you need to give up on the idea of getting back with them. Just accept the fact that it's over. You did what you did. They did what they did and move on. But if you don't feel that way, it's going to be your responsibility to make restitution. That means that you're going to have to help them find another place. Not live at your house. Not help them come back to you. Because that's just you trying to get back with them. No one's going to take that and feel like you did something. You've got to help them find their own place. It's going to be your responsibility. If you don't do that, you're not making real restitution. No one's going to care. You're going to have to pay them for whatever you took. Not, we need to get back together again. I'll give you your money back. No, you have to give them their money back and just give it back. You took it, give it back. You broke something of theirs, replace it. Just as an adult, that's really how you need to behave anyway. But if you want to get somebody back, you got to make real restitution for them to start even thinking about trusting you again. Number 3, now once you want to get on the road to recovery and getting back with them, the first step is you have to offer honest friendship. When I say honest friendship, I mean not I'm your friend because I'm really trying to get back with you, and whenever I see that that's not going to happen, I'm going to turn on you in a second. Because then you just create a situation where they become cold-hearted towards you. You have to understand, when you're vindictive to people, when you're vindictive towards somebody, what they do is they become very cold-hearted towards you as a protective layer for themselves. That's a defense mechanism to become really cold-hearted towards you. That's why you can call them and cuss them out. They're like, whatever, motherfucker. I don't care nothing about you. They might argue back for a second, but as soon as they hang up that phone, you're dead to them again. And the reason why is because when you did all that vindictive stuff towards them, it built a wall up inside of them to avoid dealing with you and to avoid you being able to hurt them. And once somebody takes away your ability to hurt them, you don't have the ability to love them either because they don't care. They don't want to hear it. So you got to start trying to break those walls down. And that, in an honest friendship, is a good way to start breaking the walls down when a person sees that you really do care about them even when you're not together. Because you got to remember, if you get together, there's a 50-50 chance you'll break up again, and they're going to have to go through all of this. So if the only reason why you're being nice to them is because you think there's an opportunity for y'all to get back together, they know that when that dries up, back to being vindictive again. So they keeping that wall up because that's how they protect themselves from what your antics and shenanigans. So you got to be honest with your friendship. Number 4, be patient. Be patient. That's big. You can't do something and then automatically think that, okay, we cool again, we're friends now. Because you did things to destroy your friendship. You did things to destroy the trust. Trust does not get built quickly. As a matter of fact, the first time you build trust takes a while. But once you destroy trust and try to rebuild it, it takes even longer. Because you got to clear out the rubble of what you had before. You know, it's like building a structure where there was nothing there is a lot easier than building something where there's some dilapidated nonsense, you know, that's standing there. Because then you got to demo that, and then you got to clear that all out, and then you got to build on top of it. So you've already destroyed the structure that you had, or it's tattered and torn up so bad that it has to be destroyed and then moved out of the way for y'all to rebuild something new. So you got to be patient with that. You're not going to say something on Monday and then y'all going to be cool again on Tuesday. It ain't going to work that way. If you're not in it for the long haul, you got to accept the fact that you don't want to be back in that relationship and you don't want to rebuild. You just move on and try to find somebody new. Because ultimately, if you're not patient and you're not in it for the long run, you're going to go on an emotional roller coaster where you put forth all this effort to get them to be cool with you again. They're still trepidatious about talking to you and about trusting you. That's going to piss you off, and you're going to go back and undo everything you did. Well, forget you did. And then you're going to start doing vindictive stuff because that's how you cope. That's got to be something you get out of your system anyway. That's got to be something you stop doing. Because that's going to destroy your friendships, your loves, everything in your life. So that's something you need to stop doing anyway. So going through this process is good for you because it shows you how to pick up the pieces after you've done something like that and lets you really know what damage you've done to your relationships. So you got to be patient with it. And number 5, if it's applicable, ask for another chance. Sometimes the person really did you wrong and the only thing you really did was react in a really messed up way. So it ain't really on you to necessarily ask for another chance. But sometimes you did them wrong and you were vindictive towards them because they didn't want to take it. That happens. That's some like the worst stuff you can do. When you wrong somebody else and then you become vindictive towards that person, I mean, that's you climbing up a hill that's like this steep. I don't know if you can see my hand. It's like that. You're going to need hook ropes and everything. That's going to be rough. But it does happen, and then that's when you have to go through this process, and then you have to humble yourself and ask for another chance. It might be tough on you, but it's something that you can do. Ask for another chance. If it isn't applicable, then you do all of these things and see if they ask you for another chance. Or you tell them, hey, maybe we can try this again, and both be better towards each other. It can be mutual in that way. So those are things you got to go through. Those are the steps you got to go through. And the biggest thing is just realizing that being vindictive towards other people isn't going to get you anywhere. You're not going to feel better after you get done doing it. Maybe for a couple seconds, but when that anger wears off, you're going to regret it. So those are things you got to think about. And then if you do something vindictive, if you do try to get back at somebody, then these are some of the steps you can go through to rebuild that trust and reconcile. Once again, it's your man, Chazz Ellis. Make sure you hit me up on the ChazzEllisProject.com. Also, make sure you go to Ask Chazz Ellis on Facebook. Holla at your boy. I post little things on there you can read, whatever. Get involved in that. Hit me up on Twitter also. If you go to the ChazzEllisProject.com, you can get consultations, make a donation if you want to, get the email address so you can ask questions, whatever. Once again, it's your man, Chazz Ellis. Peace.